Abram lived long ago in a city called Ur. Ur was a big, busy place. Many people lived there. They built tall buildings. They worshipped many gods, gods made of wood and stone. But Abram's story would be different. He would know the one true God. His life was about to change. Abram's father was Terah, and he had 2 brothers, Nahor and Haran. Haran's son Lot was Abram's nephew. They all lived together. Life was good for them, or so it seemed for a while. But God had other plans, a plan for Abram. His father moved the family away from Ur. They went to a place called Haran. It was a long journey. Perhaps they were searching for something more. Life in Haran was all right, but God had bigger dreams for Abram and for the whole world. Through him, many would be blessed. Abram was not a young man. He was 75 years old. Some might say too old. Too old for a new start. Too old for a big adventure. But God does not regard age. God sees the heart, and he saw Abram's heart. He saw a heart that could trust, a heart ready for a divine call. One day God spoke. God spoke to Abram. It was not a small thing. It was a life-changing call. God's voice cut through the noise of everyday life, the noise of the evil world. Abram heard him. He listened carefully. This was important.
Leave your country, leave your people, leave your father's house.
These were big things to leave. His home was all he knew. His family was dear to him. His friends were there too. This was a huge request, a test of obedience, a call to step into the unknown.
Go to the land that I will show you.
God did not give a map. He did not give all the details, just a direction. Go. So Abram had to have faith. Trust God would lead him. Trust God knew the way. This was the start of faith, a journey of trust. Imagine Abram's thinking. He had a comfortable life, familiarity, everything he had ever known. Why leave it all behind? For a voice? For a promise? But this was God's voice, a voice of love and power, a voice that offered hope, and Abram chose to listen. Abram chose to believe. God did not just ask Abram to leave. God also made promises, big, amazing promises.
I will make you into a great nation. Through you I will bless the world.
But Abram had no children yet. His wife Sarai could not have children. This promise seemed impossible, but God specializes in the impossible. With God, all things are possible. Abram had to hold on to this.
I will bless you. I will make your name great.
Abram was not famous then. He was just a man from Haran. But God saw his future, a future filled with honor, a future known by many. His name would be remembered, remembered for his faith, remembered for his obedience.
You will be a blessing.
This was not just about Abram. It was about others too. Through Abram, God would bless others. Many people, all families on earth. This was a wonderful privilege. Abram was a mediator, a channel for God's goodness to flow to the whole world.
I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse.
God promised protection. He would be Abram's shield, his strong defender. Abram would not be alone. God would be with him through every step, through every trial. These promises were Abram's anchor. So Abram decided. He chose to obey God. He chose to leave Haran. It was not an easy choice. He had to say goodbye. Goodbye to his old life. Goodbye to familiar places. But he said yes to God. Yes to the unknown future and destination. Yes to the divine adventure. Abram packed his things. He gathered his family.
Sarai, we must go. The Lord has called us.
His wife Sarai went with him. His nephew Lot also went. They took all their belongings, all the servants they had, everything they owned. They were leaving for good. No turning back now. Their journey of faith began. They set out from Haran, as the Lord had told him. Abram was 75 years old enough to want comfort, old enough to resist change, but young enough in spirit, young enough to trust God. His age did not stop him. His faith moved him forward. He was on his way. Can you imagine that moment, leaving everything you know for a promise from God? Not knowing the exact destination, just trusting the one who called. This is true faith, faith that acts, faith that moves. Abram showed us how. He took the first step. The journey was long. They traveled for many days, through deserts and hills, under the hot sun, facing the unknown. But they kept going.
We must keep moving. God is guiding us.
Abram kept leading. Sarai kept supporting. Lot kept following. God kept guiding them. Finally, they reached Canaan, the land God had promised. It was a new place, different from Haran, different from Ur. New people lived there. The Canaanites were in the land. It was not empty. It was not simply theirs yet. More faith was needed. Abram traveled through the land. He went as far as Shechem, to a great tree of Moreh. There, God appeared to Abram. God spoke to him again.
To your offspring I will give this land.
This was a confirmation, a reassurance from God. Abram was in the right place. God was keeping his word. So Abram built an altar there, an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him. It was an act of worship, an act of thanksgiving, a way to mark God's faithfulness.
I am building this altar
to remember the Lord's promise, to show my gratitude, and to declare my trust. Even in a land not yet ours. Abram remembered God's promise. He showed his gratitude. He declared his trust, even in a land not yet his. Then, trouble came. A severe famine hit the land. There was no food in Canaan. The land of promise felt empty. Abram and his family were hungry. Their animals were hungry too. This was a big test. What would Abram do? Would he still trust God?
We must go to Egypt. There is food there. The Nile River keeps Egypt fertile.
It seemed like a good plan, a practical solution, but it was a detour, a move away from the promised land. Sometimes, fear can lead us in the wrong direction. Off of God's path, even faithful people face fear.
Sarai, I am afraid of the Egyptians. They might kill me to take you, for you are very beautiful. Tell them you are my sister.
This was a half-truth, a lie. This plan caused problems. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, heard of Sarai. He took her into his palace. He thought she was Abram's sister. He treated Abram well because of her, giving him gifts, sheep, cattle and servants, but he had lost his wife to Pharaoh. His fear had led to this. God had to step in. God protected Sarai. He sent plagues on Pharaoh's house. Because of Sarai, Abram's wife, Pharaoh realized the truth.
What have you done to me? Why did you lie?
Pharaoh was angry and scared. He returned Sarai to Abram and sent them all away from Egypt. Abram and Sarai left Egypt. Lot went with them. They had many possessions now, more flocks and herds, more silver and gold. They returned to Canaan, back to the place of promise, back to the altar Abram had built. There Abram called upon God's name. He learned a hard lesson about fear. Abram and Lot had so much, so many animals. The land could not support them both. Their herdsmen began to argue with one another, fighting over pasture and water. This was not good. Family should not fight. Abram wanted peace. He was a man of peace. He knew something had to change.
Let's not have any quarreling between you and me or between our herdsmen. We are close relatives.
Abram was wise and generous. He gave Lot the first choice.
Look around. If you go left, I'll go right. If you go right, I'll go left.
Lot looked around. He saw the plain of the Jordan. It was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. It looked rich and easy to pasture. So Lot chose the whole fertile plain, and he moved his tents toward Sodom, a city known for its wickedness. Lot chose based on what he saw with his eyes. And so Abram was left with the hill country. It might have seemed less appealing, less fertile than the plain. But Abram trusted God, and he did not complain. He accepted Lot's choice. He valued peace over possessions. His heart was set on God's promise, not just on good land, and God saw Abram's heart. After Lot had gone, God spoke to Abram again. He reassured him. He renewed his promises.
Look around from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west.
God showed him the vast land, the land that would be his, and his descendants forever.
All the land you see I will give to you and to your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted.
This was an incredible promise, a promise of countless children, a promise of an eternal inheritance. God's words brought fresh hope to Abram.
Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you.
This was an invitation to possess the promise, to explore his inheritance, to see God's faithfulness. Abram was not to sit still. He was to move forward, living in the promise. So Abram moved his tents. He went to live near Hebron, near the great trees of Mamre. There he settled down. And what did he do? He built an altar to the Lord. Abram worshipped. Again he acknowledged God. His faith was active. His devotion was constant. And yet Abram's journey was not over. There would be more tests, more waiting, more challenges. But his faith grew stronger. With every step of obedience, with every word from God, he learned to trust God deeply, even when things were hard, even when promises seemed distant. He held on to God's hand. Abram's story teaches us about faith, about trusting God. Even when we cannot see the way, obeying God, even when it costs us something. God honors such faith. He blesses those who trust Him. Abram's journey started with a call, and it led to a legacy of blessing for the entire world.